My guest today is Dr. Kevin Elko, a nationally renowned sports psychologist, author, and professional motivational speaker. You have over 31 championship rings. Is that true?
It's actually 33, but you're close. Every blessing has a burden. Everybody wants the blessing. They don't want the burden. I'm not looking for blessings to come into my life. I didn't even come on your show to get any kind of blessing. I'm looking to be one.
Welcome to the Lee Labrada Show.
Brought to you by Lean Body, the #1 protein shake in gyms across America.
Welcome back, you guys, to the Lee Labrada Show. We are all about helping you improve your physical, mental, and spiritual health. And that's why we bring on experts who can help us to improve ourselves on all of these areas. My guest today is Dr. Kevin Elko, a nationally renowned sports psychologist, performance and career enhancement consultant, author, and professional motivational speaker. Dr. Elko consults with and speaks regularly to Fortune 500 companies, plus a literal who's who of NFL and college sports teams. He brings a powerful combination of inspiration and insight and has created many, many winners. He's also authored many books, including Nerves of Steel, The Pep Talk, True Greatness, The Touchdown, The Sender, and Believing is Seeing. You can find these titles on Amazon, and I encourage you to check them out. All right, you guys, so you're in for a real treat. Listening to Dr. Elko, I've come to the conclusion that he's got a gift, and it's a unique ability to touch people, to move them, and to help them to become a better person. On today's show, Dr. Elko is going to help us to better understand the traits of champions and how to become the kind of person who we want to be. Dr. Elko, welcome to the show. It's an honor to have you with us.
Thanks for having me. I'm looking forward to doing this with you guys.
Thank you. Dr. Elko, I know that you've worked with everybody from the United States Olympic Committee. You've consulted with NFL teams, the Steelers, the Cowboys, the Eagles, the Dolphins, the New Orleans Saints. It just goes on and on. And in college sports, you've worked with national champions, including the University of Miami, LSU, University of Alabama, and Florida State University. In fact, I've been told that you have over 31 championship rings. Is that true?
It's actually 33, but you're close.
So that's close enough. So I'd like to start by asking you about your story. How did you become Dr. Elko, the go-to professional that all of these highly successful teams and individuals seek for guidance and advice? So growing up, did you ever think that you'd be where you are today?
I think moments are powerful, and having faith is powerful. I went to the same school. I know you had Christian Conti on here. I went undergraduate at the same place where we grew up. You went there, you went nowhere. And I read a book. I was studying to be a biology teacher and a football coach. And I saw this book, The Psychology of Coaching. I read it. My father worked on the railroad. I came home and there's something powerful about declaring, I'm going to have a healthy body. There's something magic about saying, this is my destiny. There's something magic when you first speak it into existence. And I came home, my father worked on the railroad, and I said, Dad, I'm going to go work for the United States Olympic Committee, the Pittsburgh Steelers, and the Dallas Cowboys as a sports psychologist. Now you have to realize something. I wasn't very good in school. Like fourth grade, that was the toughest 3 years of my life. So for me to say that to my dad, he's like, what? But, all three of those things happen. You declare it. I stated it, and it's when you go bold like that, and things came and met me along the way, and I ended up doing all three of those things that my father mentioned to me before he passed. He said, remember that day? I said, yeah, I remember that day. Remember what you said to me? I said, I remember exactly what I said to you. He said, where'd you get the kind of whatever you got to say? I said, I don't know. He said, well, whatever it was, it worked. And so that's where it kind of started. I dreamed it and stayed in that vision. And somehow, even though I didn't have history, I had faith that I could do it. And, it's been a bonanza. It's been a lot of fun.
It's amazing, really, when you stop and think about when you lock in on something and you speak it and you reinforce it, just how far you can go. And I know that you've influenced tens of thousands of people, but could I ask you, who were the individuals that influenced you the most?
I grew up, and the whole time growing up, my grandmother came from Russia, and she was an incredible woman. She had a lot of faith. She was a little lady. And my father came in and said, my father was a retired Marine. He said, your grandmother has leukemia, a rare form. She'll be gone in just a few days. And I went to see her, and she was playing an organ and singing. I thought, well, this does not sound like somebody dying to me. And I go, I just talked to Dad, said, you're dying. He said, who told him that? The doctor. She says, I'm not going, I'll go when I'm ready. And she lived 4.5 years.
Wow.
I don't think we realize the power of thought. And so let's take it's like take a pebble and throw it in the water. It has a wave. If I throw a boulder in the water, that's another kind of wave. And I don't think we even think of the power and the amplitude of thought and the power of repetition. And I just got done talking to Chip Kelly, getting ready to play at UCLA, and getting ready to play Dion. And I know Dion. And we went to something real interesting. Chip said, look, we're not inspired, we're wired. And I gave him that, but he took it to the next level. He says, when you guys buy your home, do you want it inspired with electricity or wired with electricity? And from being around someone like her and understanding the power of thought when it gets wired because you repeat it and what happens, early on it was her. And, I have a very much religious background as well. But I don't think faith just goes into religiosity. I think that I learned real early the power of it, fascinated by it, drawn to it. And I think she did real early in just the power of thought and the power of vision and the power of having faith. And I just been fascinated and drawn to it ever since.
It is so powerful, what you just described. And I am a Christian myself, and when I listen to you speak, and I've heard some of your lectures, which are fantastic. I can hear you allude to Scripture, in your thoughts and in your words. And what role has faith played in your life, if you don't mind me asking?
My mind works through it, Lee. I just got off of a call with a pharmaceutical company, and so what happens, I like what Dolly Parton said. She has 2 great phrases. She has a bunch of them. One I love is, I ask her, what do you feel about getting your hair done? She goes, I don't know. I've never been there when it happened. She wears a wig. But she had another phrase, decide who you are and be it on purpose. Mine's different, close but different. Decide who you are and think it on purpose. So when you have things going around in your head, if I put a Bluetooth on most people's head and whatever they thought went through the speakers, people be like, Jesus, take the wheel. So watch some of these things floating around your head. Watch this. I worked with a realtor from Birmingham who had one of his best years ever during COVID. He repeated this to himself over and over. Water wears the rock. Water wears the rock. Water wears the rock. That's from Job. Job 3:25, that which I feared the most has befallen me. That's pretty good. Like my mother used to say, you keep on crying, I'll give you something to cry about. Well, you keep on worrying, you'll get something to worry about. Watch this one. Fabulous. If you do not grow weary, you will reap in due season. If you faint not. We could mentally faint, and the great ones know how not to faint. They keep coming. So the role that it plays is the language that we speak in the book, Believing is Seeing. Saban wrote the first chapter from, the head coach of Bama. He wrote most people know that, but I don't know if everybody knows that. But it was the power of language. And so you could choose the power of language and to speak it to you on purpose. And I just read something last night. I was laying in bed and, the power of the second thought. Have another thought. Have the next thought. What's the next thought? And so I think the power of water wears the rock. What I think the most I will eventually become. That's all in there. If you do not grow weary, don't get tired. Keep going. Don't break. The power of don't breaking. And the great ones, y'all got me fired up now. The great ones don't break. They just don't. Jalen Hurd got on his shoulder. I was born for the storm. The calm doesn't suit me. We don't break. And so I think that the role that it plays, I'm not fundamental insofar as if your walk is different than mine, I don't judge you. I don't try to bring you to that. It fits me what I do. And I think it's powerful when you have that stuff going through your head in a powerful way that I can't even explain, that I wouldn't even be able to quantify. But those things go through my head. Do not grow weary. Water wears the rock. Offenses. There's the big one. Everybody's offended. Offenses. They will come. Worry more about the log in your own eye, not the speck in everybody else's. You're down in Houston. Somebody want to send me a bunch of texts criticizing the coach A&M yesterday. I'm going, why don't you just take care of yourself?
Right.
You can improve you. You can't improve. I love Jimbo, but that's his life. This is yours.
Right.
So, yeah, it plays a big role.
Yes, it obviously does. And it's so powerful when you are plugged in, as I say, to the creator of the universe. Can you talk a little bit about the correlation between positive thinking and things that people look for, which is health, happiness, and success?
Inattentional blindness is a phrase that we use in my field. In the back of your head is something called, it sits back here. It's called the reticular activation system. And it kicks in. And when we speak and think, we see. So there's no evidence, Lita says, when you complain, when you're offended, I'm just blowing off steam. No, you're not. When you sit and talk about those things, they become clearer to you. It's called inattentional blindness based upon a part of your brain called the reticular activation system. So the role that it plays, if you walk with somebody, or you sit with somebody and they complain about their wife, then you're going to see those kind of things clearer with whoever you're with. Same with your husband. If your best friend gets a divorce, research says, even if they're in a different area code, you're going to more tend to go toward that as well. So inattentional blindness, you see about 25,000 things a day. You remember a handful, 10 or 12. I tell people, look, think about the car you drive day after you bought it. Didn't you see it everywhere?
That's right.
I bought a BMW. I didn't know there was like 12 on my block. I made mine a little bit different. I put a CB radio in it, West Virginia guy. But the thing is, when you speak it, you see it.
Yeah.
So
that's right.
I have a phrase I use. My deal's not complicated. I use about 3 or 4 phrases all day I plan in my head. Here's one. And I got it when the tornadoes hit Tuscaloosa. Save and I came out and we addressed all of it with this. I'm not looking for blessings to come into my life. I didn't even come on your show to get any kind of blessing. I'm looking to be one. That's all. That's the key to me for a happy, healthy life. I'm looking to be a blessing. So I'm just looking to be blessed. Somehow I want to be a light. You're not talking about scripture, Isaiah 6:8. I heard a voice say, who should I send on my behalf? I said, here I am. Send me. So I'm walking through the airport in Tampa, just at this big Morgan Stanley event, talking about, can I be a blessing? I see a woman standing at the Southwest counter. Her hair, she looked like she just come with a lollipop. It's all over the place. So I said, ma'am, I think I'm looking for you. And that line ain't never worked. She goes, my daughter was blown up in a Humvee in Afghanistan. They life her to Carmel, Indiana, St. Vincent Hospital. And the police just told me she was a nurse and they blindsided her Humvee. She was going to rescue somebody with doctors. The doctors both were killed. My daughter was thrown 35 feet. Her body's burnt. Her best friend was thrown 35 feet. They life-flighted her here to Indiana, into Carmel, Indiana. Where's your suitcase? I don't have one. Do you have anything? I have a driver's license. That's it. Well, you got me. I saw her that day because I was speaking it. But let me clarify something. Not just positive thoughts, positive action thoughts. Not just positive thoughts. The thoughts have to transfer into action. And so, can I be a blessing? Keep chopping. and it transfers over. And when you work in sport, what you'll find is so many times you just tell ball players stuff like, take the ball, hit the gloves, look downfield, trust your eyes. I don't know if that's all positive, but it's clarifying and it's focus. And there's a place called the Institute for Global Happiness. And they said, people that are successful speak different. Here's one of the things they talk about. Today, I will focus on. That's one of the phrases that powerful, effective people say. Today, I will focus on. Today, I will do. I'll be 1-0 today. So I don't want the people out there on this powerful program that you have just to be positive. Be action. That's why the fig tree, it just wilted, because it didn't have action to it. Get moving, because water wears the rock. So I think it's powerful, but quantify it, get it moving, make your positive thoughts a verb.
Thought plus action begets results time and time again. So you believe in programming your mind, planting thoughts over and over. And I've heard you say that something magic happens when you put these thoughts to paper. Is it true that you make Post-it notes and leave them for yourself in different places?
I do, but in neurons that fire together, wire together. Our brain is made up of these neurons that carry messages. And the more we repeat them, the stronger they wire. And when you get athletics, you get into deliberate practice where you're teaching them how to really it's called wiring the myelization. You wire it tight. So they got this tribe in Africa, and they spin a bone on them, they drop over dead. So they go take these docs, do autopsies, and they died when the bone stopped them. That's simple. They believed that so well. They were wired, they repeated it, they died it. W. Clement Stone, from that old Think and Grow Rich stuff, which I love, The Magic of Believing, it came out during that same time. W. Clement Stone was up in Chicago. He used to have his people 50 times go, do it now, do it now, do it now, do it now. And they walked out and had a sense of urgency. So it's not that you're trying to wire them, inspire them, you're trying to wire them. Look, our brain's like a big garden. Every day you plant green beans, it grows green beans. You plant corn, it grows corn. The challenge is most people plant nothing and their garden grows weeds. A lot of crap, a lot of nonsense, a lot of stupid, whatever they saw last on TV. That's what it grows. If you got somebody around you, it's the same thing. So I tell my ball players, your psyche is delicate, protect it. And here's the other part. There's fountains and drains. Be a fountain, stay away from the drains. Because what they'll do is they'll program you. Our brain is extremely plastic and it shapes all the time. And so by repetition of thought, of visualization, and training your mind on what not to pay attention to, then your mind becomes wired. And so watch this one, Lee. So a friend of mine, RJ Shook, and I, 25 years ago, he came and interned me with the Pittsburgh Steelers. RJ now does work with, he got Shook Forbes. He tested top 250 financial advisors identified by Barron's 25 years ago. Average age, 37. We did it together, him and I, for Forbes 25 years later. Average age, 62. It's the same person.
Wow.
It's the exact same person.
Wow.
So if they're inspired, do you think somebody else got inspired along the way? No, they've taken and they set their mind up to become wired that way. The neurons got wired that way. And so I've got a book on my shelf. I didn't write this, and watch this title. Hardwired for Happiness. Hardwired for everything. Because a lot of people inattentionally hardwired themselves for offended, the epidemic today. Everybody's touchy. Self-pity.
Right.
Because I got shortchanged. Comfort. Because we didn't go and on purpose wire our brains to go and become happy, successful, full of life. That's the deal. So you're exactly right. You're trying to get them. That's why I'm on the phone with the coaches or with Nick Saban every day. We're working on wiring them, not inspiring them.
we're trying to rewire, and so many people, as you mentioned, do that inadvertently, and I guess I'm going to say that they wire in the weeds, and they just let it go. But whatever you do, you're always wiring, aren't you?
Yeah, it's what you're saying. If you don't know where you're going, you end up somewhere else. And you want to be very intentional, and you want to realize that you are always wiring. So I go after 3 wire areas. We have like a program we do called the 14-day challenge. We go after 3 areas. First of all, your health. June 5th, 2017, they carried me out here in an ambulance. So I'm a vegan now. If you said to me, I'm going to take you to eat a cheeseburger and I'll give you $10,000, honestly, I don't think I could do it. I just wired myself so hard. This is I eat nothing with a mother, nothing with a face. I do HIIT training every morning. I wouldn't know what to do without it. The other day, I had to go over to Tulsa, and I was in Dallas, and I had to get up. If I didn't get my running early, I wasn't going to guess. I'm getting up 4 o'clock in the morning. I can't go without it. I'm wired. And then I meditate 3 times a day. They told me do these things at Cleveland Clinic, and you're going to live a long time. But I wanted peace. So I do the 23rd Psalm 3 times a day, and I hold on, my cup runneth over, and I just keep on over and over thinking it. What am I thankful for? What am I grateful for? And the challenge is we're not naturally wired for happy or even successful. That's the challenge. Think about it. Our skin's job is to keep us alive. Our heart's job is to keep us alive. What's our brain's job? So our brains are naturally Velcro for bad until we rewire it. What you're doing in this program is powerful because it's not natural. And so you want to outdo your programming. You want to rewire it because we're more wired to be safe. Your brain don't even care if you're happy. It just wants you safe and comfortable. So you want to rewire it for what you want in life. And mine's just 3 areas: connection with others, because George Viden's research at Harvard, people that connect are happier. A healthy body, because if you don't take time to be healthy, you're going to take time to be sick. And it's hard to have a good life without a meaningful life. It's hard to have a meaningful life without meaningful work. I wire myself in my calling. I want to work to the day I get called home. I love it. I feel like it brings meaning. If you think you got a lot of gifts, you should get married. It'll help you. It'll get you limited. It'll help you that. But take your gift and go to the next level. But those are 3 areas I just wire all the time: my health, friendships, and my calling.
Those are fantastic things to focus ourselves on. Now, I've heard you say that the conscious mind is a Post-it note, but our subconscious mind is a supercomputer. So can we talk a little bit about the conscious and the subconscious, how they interact? And I know that can be a very complex topic. So, just as in terms that we would understand.
Okay. I think if you know from your hometown, Jalen Hurt, his history. Jalen Hurt is starting at Alabama. He gets benched by a guy that everybody thinks is the guru of sport, Nick Saban. We got into a book, and actually it was the book that really focused, inspired, wired, I should say, Jack Canfield with the chicken soup. It's called Resurrection. And it basically talks about this concept. Your conscious mind is who you say you are. Your subconscious mind is who you really are. I can say this is what I think in exercise. This is what I think about diet. This is what I think about racism. But how are you wired? And so you need a relationship. The conscious mind is what we say, but our subconscious mind drives everything. Your subconscious mind is really just a Post-it note. So when you hear somebody speak, that's the Post-it note. That's your conscious mind. Your subconscious mind is a supercomputer. That's what you're going after. To wire you with peace, to wire you where you can hold your peace, to wire you with happy, to wire you with hunger to be a success. And so when you do it over and over and over, you get wired. You're going to have the supercomputer. So what I do is it's usually green, but I have this. So I write out every day, here is my 3 goals, because I'm trying to get it in. Real simple, healthy body, real simple, connection with others, and my calling. Then I do what's called nitty-gritty goals, or goals of measurable activities. And what I do is I say, here are the 3 activities I'm going to do. It's 3 by 3 by 3. Here are the 3 things I'm going to do to go after that goal. For example, healthy body. There's 3 things I have to do. I'll be a vegan today. I laid out my food. This will be my exercise today. I laid it out. And here will be my 3 meditation times. I laid it out. Simple. I can be held accountable, and it's transparent. With connection, here's who I will call. Here's who I will thank. Here is who I will encourage. I put a box right in the middle, go WIN, what's important now. 1 Thessalonians 4:11, mind your own business, work quietly, focus on the work of your own hands. And I write 3 self-talk phrases. Be 1 to know today. So what, now what? And be a blessing. That's my 3 by 3 by 3 that we teach all the time. 1-page motivation sheet. So I rewrite it every day. There was the old Think and Grow Rich talked about the power of writing, but there was even a book recently on re-engineering greatness said there's something powerful about pen and paper.
Yes.
So I write in this thing every day, and I keep on looking it over. To me, the mental exercise is the writing. So you do it over and over and over, and then I have my self-talk ready and the things I'm going to say. So I'm doing it over and over and over in writing it, speaking it, visualizing it, praying it until it's wired.
Yeah, that reinforcement is something else. I find myself doing the same thing. You know, I'm the guy that takes a lot of notes, reviews the notes. I'm the guy that schedules his day, thinks the night before about what has to be accomplished the next day, what I get to accomplish the next day. You know, and so I go to bed at night pretty much knowing what that next day is going to look like and the things that I want to accomplish. So that programming is so important. Now, something that I think that you've said is that there's 2 types of pain in life: the pain of regret, and which one was the other one?
Discipline.
And the pain of discipline.
Discipline's uncomfortable. It's uncomfortable. I like to eat what I want, say what I want, speak what I want. It's uncomfortable. To do what you just said, it's uncomfortable. Yeah, it's uncomfortable. I'm jogging down here, and there was a guy right over the hill here. He goes, "Man, you lost a lot of weight. You look good." I wasn't trying to lose weight. I just changed my diet. And he goes, "I don't want to give up beer." I'm not going to look, Jeff. Every blessing has a burden. Everybody wants the blessing. They don't want the burden. And I want to do your life, Kevin. Oh, you really do? You want to sleep on planes, fly all over the place, make sure you're ready, going all the time up on what you're going to say next. You sure about that? So nobody wants to give up for it. And so it really comes down to, if you ever walk into Planet Hollywood, inside the front door is a letter Bruce Lee wrote to himself. I will be one of the best known actors in the world. I have $10 million to my name in 10 years. In return, I will. So it's the pain of discipline. It's not, look, if you come and play football at Alabama, he's going to require and demand so much discipline out of you. It's painful. But it's not as painful as if you don't do it. And, Jalen Hurd did a video, said, I'm not afraid of what I'll become. I'm more afraid of what I won't become. And so the pain of regret, one of the places where I do have discipline is I had to clean up my diet. But when they carried me out of here in an ambulance and I looked over and saw the look on my son's face, that was painful. And I felt it like I'm not going there again. I'm not going to rationalize it. I'm not going to blame anybody. I'm going to own it. When I looked at him, it was painful. When you walk in and you're a football player, you're running through their celebration, it's painful. When you look in a mirror, and you can rationalize and say it was because of this break or that bad break or this person in my life. When you look in the mirror and you realize you didn't become what God put you here to be. Do whatever you want. But fooling yourself is rough. Face the mirror. And you can go, look, if you're honest, that's painful. Now, most people rationalize and blame it, whatever. No. If you look in there and go, I was meant to be more than this. So go do something about it. But here's the problem. Doing something, doing your show, doing what you're doing, writing the books, putting it out there, being rejected. It's painful. It's painful. Getting what you want is painful. My son just called me. We're going on. He's with Amazon Movies where he just went. So he goes, Dad, I better learn how to get rejected. So I was reading this. I was just reading this late last night that parents do a great job when they teach their children the power of failure. And the youngest billionaire in our country, she was the creator CEO of Spanx, the youngest billionaire in our country. She used to have to come to the dinner table every night, and her dad would say, what did you fail at today? I want to hear it. So you got to go out and fail and come to grips with that and end your relationship with it. But that's tough to keep on going. So let's talk about discipline and regret. Kathy Hughes, Radio 1, TV 1 billionaire, went to 32 banks asking for a loan for $980,000 to buy a radio station. They all said no. Here's discipline. Because the 33rd one said yes, and she's a billionaire. Tyler Perry, I was jogging doing sprints down in New Orleans, but now I'm like singing Bob Marley. I didn't realize they're smoking so much marijuana, I caught contact. But Tyler Perry was homeless for 7 years, trying to do his plays. No one's coming. His mother told him to quit. But he stayed disciplined, didn't let it go. And now Tyler Perry can look in that mirror and not have regret. Kathy Hughes can look in that mirror and not have regret. I challenge everybody watching your podcast, watch what you're doing, watching your show, to be able to look in that mirror. Today, I don't have regret. I did today with all I've got. I fought through it. The rejections didn't stop me. It strengthened me. I didn't break. That's what it comes down to. And a lot of people look in that mirror and they blame somebody else. Oh, the person I married, my Sunday school teacher. No, own it. Just own it. So that's the power of discipline, the power of regret. And it's uncomfortable. It's uncomfortable hearing no. It's uncomfortable here. You can't. It's uncomfortable, Jalen Hurt going on the bench when you only lost 2 games in 3 years. It's uncomfortable, but you keep going.
Now, I don't think that any conversation about achieving greatness, paying the prices you're talking about, is complete without talking about those failures that we're going to hit along the way. So when champions lose, when they fail, and I like you, I don't think that failure is permanent unless you make it that way. Okay, you said that you don't get over it, you grow through it, and it's the pain that instructs. Can we talk about that and what steps you would encourage people to take?
First, watch this self-talk phrase: separate the who from the do. When there's a mistake, you don't say, I did a mistake. You don't say who I am is a mistake. You go, this happened. Now let me step back and learn. Let me take step back and learn. So when you put something out there and it's not working, you come back and say, look, it's not the who I am can't do it. Let me change what I'm doing. Let me change that part of it. And so when something happens like a setback, what can I do different? I'm Alabama. We're down to last week, and we are playing. We're in with Tennessee. They're just dominating the game. So something has to change. So are we failing as a team? Absolutely. Absolutely. Saban goes into halftime and he does one shift. He goes, do you want Tennessee to decide who you are, or can you choose? Can you choose to be who you are? The game changed. So he changed the message, and he will tell you now, I've got to coach this team. These are different people. Young people are different today. We like to say young people haven't changed in 500 years. That's not true. By the last 10, 15 years, they've changed. They have changed, because I'm not sure they were challenged the way we were. Now the stuff that got us better gets the teacher fired. So what happened? He's changed. He went forward, couldn't connect with some players over time because I think I need to keep going, but change how I do things. I like how people flip work. And if you look at, we've been studying lately, one of the things with greatness, they change the way they do things. They change work. One of the phrases, they do less, but they obsess. But Nick Sharani from the Eagles calls me and says, we got to do something. I need you to talk about the Flosberry flop. I said, the what? The Flosberry flop. Everybody was doing a kick over the high bar. And a guy came by named Flosberry and says, you know what? I'm going to do it different. I'm going to go over backwards. He changed the way he did it and went higher than anybody else. So I think when you hit a certain place, you go, okay, how can I change what I do? How can I do it different? What does my instincts tell me how to change it up? We did something else. Saban did it. He goes, look, we need to get to the quarterback better during the game. We're not getting the quarterback. So we failed. He said, during the game, the quarterback isn't holding the message. He didn't blame the quarterback. He goes, we're failing. I said, what's your idea? He goes, we're going to do a quarterback whisperer. What? Yeah, let's try it. What's that, Nick? I want you to give the message over and over and over to the trainer, Jeff Allen, and he's going to give it to the quarterback. And the message was, years ago, Frank Reich was playing for Maryland. Went in the game, they're losing. He's now the coach of Carolina. They're losing 31-0. He went on halftime to execute display. It's a whole new game, execute display, execute display. Boom, they scored. Miami came back. Same thing, execute display. So what Nick came up with was, because it wasn't working, let's try something different. Because it's not working, let's high jump. Everybody's stuck at this level. Let's high jump different. Fred Smith, let's do overnight mail. Bill Bowerman started Nike. Why don't we try to make a track shoe out of a waffle with a waffle iron? I don't know. Let's try it. We'll start Nike. So I think you have to say, what can we do different? And a lot of these powerful teams, they take it back to their team to say, hey, going forward, you got any ideas how we can do this kind of special different? And when you fail or you're not getting the right results, try something different. So what, now what? Do something different. That phrase, so what, now what? It's my phrase. It's on the back of the Georgia weight room. That phrase, so what, now what's back of the Alabama weight room. That so what, now what's the back of New York Jets weight room. And my phrase has different effects, different places. But you got to say, okay, this didn't go. So what, now what? So what, now what?
That phrase, so what, now what? Okay, so just break that down for me. In other words, is it saying, okay, it's done? Whatever is done. So what? Now what are we going to do about it?
If I can't change it, I can't do anything about yesterday. I can't do anything about this morning. I can't do anything about it. I understand this, but I don't get in. I cannot change an election or who's in Washington, D.C. by sitting around. I just do what the Israelites do. I just pray whoever's in there is anointed. Maybe it's too simple, but I don't have the time or energy to sit around and do that. I have a person I work with right now. Don't ask me why, but he won't pay. I've tried to get this person to pay. He hasn't paid. Sent some kind of a message. Well, I'm in trouble with the RS. Well, I guess you don't pay them either. So I can't keep on staying with that, and I'll get bitter. Something bigger than me takes care of people like that.
Right.
I can't. There's a lot of things I can't control. So the phrase is, I change the changeable. I accept the unchangeable. I remove the unacceptable. So what? There's stuff I don't like about getting older. I don't like that you can sneeze and pull muscle. I get it. I like what Billy Crystal said. I don't like it. You go to the bathroom in the middle of the night. It's in Morse code.
That's right.
Yeah, I appreciate you getting that. Some of you young listeners, hang in there, Chachi. You'll get it. But in Enterprise, Alabama, they're growing cotton. Boll weevil takes all the cotton. It's gone. Let's go down to the bar and complain. It's gone. Now what? So they get together. And once you start saying, I'm going to grow through it, it's different. They get together and they go, plant a peanut. They get wealthy from the peanut. If you go to Enterprise today, in the middle of town is a big statue of a bug. It's captured underneath it. Thank you, Mr. Boll Weevil, for the role you play in our prosperity. So what, now what? And that's what I meant by the model we're doing in Alabama. Change your relationship with hard. They were hard. That was hard. They got better at handling hard. They got creative at handling hard. And then we got wealthy at handling hard. So what, now what? If my plane's canceled, so what, now what? If a contract ends, so what, now what? So what, now what?
That is a great way of looking at those times when we have temporary failures. Why do you think that people are so afraid of failure and rejection? And what can they do to overcome that?
Programming, what we said earlier. When we go through years of school, there are teachers over and over, you got to be perfect. If you don't get 100 on the test, I get your little red mark. It's about perfection. Perfection is how we've been trained. When you strike out in a ball game, we've got to put your head down. When you make a mistake, we're going to put you on the bench. And for years, you're in school and you're taught, get a 100, get a perfect spelling test. So Carol Dweck did this study and it was pretty cool. She told this group of people, young people, I think we're fourth grade, you did excellent on a test because you're brilliant, you're bright. The other group, she said, you did excellent on a test because you worked hard. Then she offered a second test to both groups and said, you're going to have the easy one or the hard one. The ones who were told they're there because they're brilliant, they said, give us the easy one. That sustained the image. The ones who got there for the work, they said, give us the hard one. We want to work. We've been programmed to be perfect. Let me be perfect in every way. But really, to be perfectly imperfect, to go in and just embrace the imperfections. And it's back to wiring. K through 12, you're being wired to be perfect. 100 on, get all A's. I used to say this all the time. If your kid comes home with an F, 3 B's and an A, what do you talk to kid about? No, not the F. You know he ain't got nothing going on with the F. She's got to talk to her about the A. Hey, I think you got something here. And I think we've got to learn how to go forward. But a lot of people can't go forward because they want to be perfect day one. But you go forward. So watch this phrase. Let's go back to what we started with. This is in Job as well. When I am tested, not if, I will come forth pure as gold. Let's talk about the pure gold. When you put a bunch of metals into the fire, they all burn away, except gold. It stays pure.
That's brilliant. I love that.
Burn away. So you go, when I'm tested, when they give us something in class, we say, here's what's in me. But Job is saying ahead of time, when I go in, everything that isn't in me pure will get burnt away. Roberto Clemente hits the inside the park walk-off grand slam for the Pittsburgh Pirates. He rounds third base. They hold him up. He runs through and he scores. Roberto, why'd you do that? He said, I was tired. I wanted to go home. Watch what he said next. In life, when something comes at you that says, hold up, it's a sign or a test. A sign that you can't do and you got to stop, or a test how bad you want it. So the failure part is when I go forth and I'm tried. Sooner or later, everything's not pure, burns away.
It brings to mind that saying, and which is, things happen for me, not to me.
I love that phrase. I believe it. Jeremiah 29:11. There's a plan for my life, and I have to believe. And Arianna Huffington wrote about this in the Huffington Post. She said, you have to believe there's a plan for your life, even when you don't know why. You have somehow this in the plan. Then she quotes the poet Rumi, that you have to believe, and I do, you have to believe life is stacked in your favor. I believe that. I think everything happens for me, and I think my life was favored. I do.
I believe that
and
too.
I don't care what happens, but I will never come off of that stance.
Yeah, I believe that also. And I think it goes back to what you were talking about. It ties into it, that you have to wire yourself to look for those things so that you can fully appreciate them and fully take advantage of them. But I think it begins with the mindset. I could talk to you for hours. Last thing I want to ask you about, can we talk a little bit about personal accountability, being accountable to yourself? And I've heard you say that accountability is not punishment, that it's about ownership. And I love
It's
that
about
the first time I
ownership and
heard that.
paying attention. Yeah, it's about paying attention. And what we're trying to do is, like, when I wanted to change my diet, I sent what I ate every day to a dietitian. She was professional, and she kept the science of discipline points to what you pay attention to. So that's what accountability is. And it's about being aware of it more than anything else, because we're going around unconscious. So accountability isn't on punishing you. It's making you own your behaviors by being conscious of them, of your thoughts, and being conscious of your actions. Because a lot of times we drink, overeat, say a couple of things that we shouldn't be saying because we're not being conscious. We're not paying attention to paying attention. Accountability takes to the paying attention part. Pay attention to what you speak. Pay attention to what you put in your mouth. Pay attention to what comes out of your mouth. Pay attention to how you move. And when we stay alert, that's what accountability is. It's that you're paying attention to paying attention. Like, these things I will do. And you know you're doing them as you go in because you're staying aware and alert. So we need people around us. So there was a whole process by St. Ignatius of Loyola, who started the Jesuit order. I'm not Catholic, but this Pope is. And they have a thing called examine. And it's a Jesuit practice. The bells go off the Vatican at noon and 4, and you stop. It's about accountability. And you stop and think, what blessings have I had in my life so far today? What things could I have done better? And how will I go forward the next part of this day? And when I used to work with the giants, we did examine. It's to get somebody with you. Just pay attention. It's not punishment. But once we pay attention to who we are, once we pay attention that we're here to use our gifts, and are we using them, life becomes a bonanza.
And it comes back to, I believe that the term that applies is self-inventory. You know, paying attention to how you're thinking, how you're feeling, the emotion that you're feeling, and the thoughts that you're thinking, the actions that you're taking, these, you know, all of these things tying together.
I agree.
So, Dr.
You
Elko,
have a great program here.
What's that?
I said, you have a great program here.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. This has been incredibly and wonderfully helpful for our viewers. And I just want to thank you so much for helping us today. As I've mentioned before, I feel like I could just talk to you for hours. Dr. Elko, where can our viewers find out more information about you, and where can they follow you?
Go to drelko.com. People ask me what program. I was talking to my guy that runs everything for me. We call him Snake. We're on from everybody's name like that. Snake, Possum, Dirty Weasel. Dirty Weasel's my sister. But we have a program called the 14-Day Challenge. If you go on there, it's a downloadable program. It'll be a lot like what you heard us do today. We have some other programs on there, the Power of Positive Thinking, Vision for Victory. We have different programs. If we can help you in any way, just go to drelko.com.
drelko.com. There you have it, guys. Thank you, Dr. Elko. And hey, guys, help us to grow the Lee Labrada Show by sharing this podcast with one of your friends. This has been an incredibly special one, and I know your friends will really benefit from it. And be sure to hit the subscribe button below and leave a comment, because we like to hear what you think of the show. That helps us to improve. All right, you guys, stay motivated, get up, and look up. God bless you.
The Lee Labrada Show.
Cutting through my pain. You're